Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. It is Monday evening, and we are playing Masks of Nyarlathotep with 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. More on that soon. First, let's talk about everything that's below the video stream on your screen. I am an adult who knows how to talk about things. There are links to our social media, our other streaming platforms, so our Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, YouTube if you're watching on Twitch. Our YouTube hosts a plethora of content for your eyes and ears, not nose, but including a 5-year anniversary video, which was painstakingly and lovingly put together by members of the crew to celebrate 5 years of telling tales. And that contains lots of discussions and choice highlight cuts from the streams. So that's that. Go watch that. It's good. You don't have to watch it all in one go. I think it is about 3.5 to 4 hours. You could watch it in about 83-minute segments if you wanted to, or, whatever you want. It's there. You should watch it. And also below the stream are our Patreon, where you can support us if you enjoy what we do on the channel, and our Discord, which you can join and come and chat with us and other people who enjoy things on the channel and are involved in the channel and all that good stuff. So the story so far, the group went to Peru answering an advert and ended up becoming friends with a man called Jackson Elias. They dealt with some weird things while in Peru, mostly orchestrated by the man who had put out the advert. They then dealt with that, went home. Jackson Elias was then looking into something called the Carlisle expedition and got in touch with the investigators again and invited them to visit him in New York to discuss what he had found, which seemed to be that the presumed and reported dead Carlisle expedition perhaps was not as dead as it had been reported to be. So the group went to New York, sadly, to find Jackson very recently and very brutally, ritualistically murdered. They then found out that that was, as you may guess, based on the game and the description, cult activity. And they effectively, they in some way dealt with the cult, and then returned home to England, but actually sort of following in reverse the trail that Jackson had sort of left. So the last place that he had been investigating before he came back to New York was England. So the group have gone there. They have almost certainly stumbled upon some additional cult activity in London, the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh, and are now currently in Derby, following up on a lead. They had a lead for the Penhew Foundation, which finances Egyptology research, potentially including the Carlisle expedition. And Edward Gavigan, who is the main man there, also has ties to this Henson Manufacturing in Derby. So the group have gone there to investigate. A couple of the groups sort of peeked over the walls last night to see what the overnight security may be like. And yeah, on that note, actually, let's bring on John, who plays Merritt Barton. Hey, John.
Hi, Johnny.
Merritt and Ted sneaking around.
Yes, it is not usually Merritt's strength, but he decided to give it a go, and he eavesdropped on some random people walking past. And I don't remember exactly what they said, but it was vaguely useful. But we figured out like roughly the times that the guards of the manufacturing plant were changing, and we know that there's 2 of them. And then we had a peek over the wall and know that they sort of stick together, and got an idea of the rough layout of the area. So if we wanted to break in and either look around or set the toilets on fire, and those play, then we now know more information on how we can do that.
Yeah, thank you. Merritt also had rolled very well previously on library use and had a pretty good idea of the layout. Certainly the original layout, and I think basically you've just confirmed that it is as you had expected. Let's bring on Jack, who plays Ted.
Hello.
Hey, Jack. You as Jack were not with us last week,
No.
but Ted was thoroughly with us and snapping pictures like this over the walls of Henson Manufacturing.
I was
one of
disappointed
them
to miss such an egg-heavy session. I listened to
But
it.
let's not talk about eggs again. So Ted got one very good picture and one less good picture over the walls. But yeah, potential plan.
Potential shenanigans, I think. Ted is all for setting fire to something and then investigating in the opposite direction.
Yeah, this is sort of like this kind of thing, not necessarily sneaking over walls, but kind of sneaking around trying to get a scoop is kind of Ted's deal, isn't it? So
yes, exactly. He likes to be in the action, but slightly out of the action, taking a photo of the action, I guess. So yeah, he's all for climbing over the wall and seeing who shouts at them.
For a completely opposing point of view, here's Steve, who plays Edwin Price.
Hello.
Hi, Steve. I think Edwin has some alternative ideas to breaking in as well.
Yes, although Edwin's workshopping a few things. I mean, part of the problem with this is this so-called lead that we've been sent up here to Derby was from Zara Shafiq, and Edwin does not trust Zara Shafiq. So although Steve is less worried, Edwin still has a concern that we might have just been sent up here to just mess up breaking into somewhere and getting caught and then maybe murdered. So there is a certain degree of reticence. It would be nicer to be able to do these things sneakily and professionally and without being seen or caught. But Edwin's main problem is that he was the first character generated by me and therefore has normal skills and not sneaky, adventuring super skills.
Yes.
And Edwin has just survived so long that, get to roll a new character. So
we can make arrangements. Cool, thank you. Let's bring on Justin, who plays Wilfred Farwell. Hey, Justin.
Hello.
How's Wilfred?
Yeah, how is Wilfred? Derby's good. Sent some postcards. Got to look at some factories. It's been a bit of a busman's holiday, but I was stuck between, much like anyone who works 2 jobs, the number of busman holidays proliferate. Either we're going to factories or we're investigating the unknown horrors of the universe. Either way, is it really a break?
That's the problem, isn't it? With your line of work, lines of works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Lines of work.
Line of's work. Finally, Sam, who plays Mrs. Farr, coming on
Last week it was
screen,
eggs. This
groaning.
week,
Yeah,
Remind me.
just different
Um,
plurals this week. That's all.
exactly.
Difference plural. Hey, Sam. Mrs. Farwell, how's she doing?
Yeah. She's. I mean, I think she's pretty proud of herself for last session's like sneaking into van, but then definitely somewhat disappointed that all that resulted in was kind of the postage information of where it came from. I think in her head she was being like full on like spy mode, and they imagined that the payoff of this would be monumental. And it's like it was useful, but it sort of felt like a letdown after the fact that the van just drove away and we only had an address and we didn't have like all of the contents of the van in our possession somehow. So
if
I think she's
only
probably a bit
Winifred carried a crowbar with her.
exactly. So I'm gonna have to make a note for that future to always carry a crowbar.
Or just ask for your husband's crowbar.
Yeah. Otherwise, Winifred, as always, is probably along with Edwin, very much of the. I think we need to approach this cautiously. I think Sam, I am very keen on just breaking in because that's fun, but my character is definitely not so keen on breaking in. So,
Is she also still sort of riding high off definitely having seen a ghost?
I think that's probably starting to wane now. I think the reality of potentially getting arrested from breaking into this place is starting to become more immediate on the horizon. There's still a little bit of joy from that, though. I think maybe returned to that sketch a couple of times since and just reflected on witnessing something evidently supernatural.
Cool. So I believe you'd basically gone to bed at the end of last session.
So
I think we ended fairly precipitously after Justin made quite an impactful pun. But I think
So
the gang
just
had just
before
got
bed, perhaps.
Yeah, we just got together. I think Merritt and Ted had shared their experiences peeking over the wall, but we hadn't yet committed to.
Were we actually going to bed, or did we have intentions to make another plan for this night?
Well, please
Because
discuss.
I wasn't clear on that at the end of last session. Not that I'm going to be the one to suggest we do something in the night, I think.
I think we needed to, I mean, I'm jumping ahead to let's break in, but we needed to get some supplies before we did anything.
Yeah, we
like
wanted to
rope,
get a rope so that people, if we break in,
very
people
true.
can then get out
Mate,
again.
let's go to the local post office and say we want all your burglary kits, balaclavas, and rope. Don't mind us, nothing in particular. We're just doing some very secretive rock climbing.
It's for a fancy dress party.
Exactly.
We were also considering the idea of putting this investigation on pause and going to investigate Lower Edale. Lesser Edale? Edale.
Yes, that place.
Lesser.
Lesser Edale.
Winifred is up for that in the hope that it maybe gives us some other inspiration.
I don't see why. I'm of the opinion that that is simply procrastination from the larger problem ahead of us, which is the fact that we're here and we should act. Personally, I don't know how we should act, but just make an action.
We've already gained some information. It's not that it's been useless. We found out about Randolph Shipping Company from Port Darwin, Australia. We could follow up that. We could potentially find out about the shipping company.
Yeah, you're quite right. We should go all the way to Australia. I know you're not saying that. I know you're not saying that, Sam, but
for example, try a safer strategy of rather than breaking into the whole factory, making an effective plan to break into one van. I got in quite easily. There was only one driver. Perhaps if we intercepted them somewhere further away from town, we could get access to what's in there somehow. It would be safer, surely, than break into a whole factory.
I did have a question regarding the factory and the building positioning and how tall the building with the chimneys was, because the wall is 10 feet and the building seemed to be fairly close to the wall. So it depends whether the building is like one story or whether it's much higher than 10 feet.
You couldn't jump to the roof of
Right.
that building from the wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you couldn't use a ladder to sort of make a makeshift bridge, say. You can say no, it's fine.
The height might work.
Right. But physics might have something
I
to say
will
about
leave
the whole
it up to
proposition.
you if you want to attempt it or not.
What happens if
I
we
think-
set the ladder on fire? Would that help?
You get across it quicker.
No, we need to set the ground floor of the building on fire so that the rest of the building lowers, so it's closer.
Sure.
To
Or, you know, hot air rises.
Yeah.
We could, you know.
And
Anyway,
then
right.
and
Got
then the
it.
guards will be looking down instead of up as
Yes.
well. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got it. I'm pretty sure parachutes have been invented by this point in history. We've got a plan.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I
The
don't
other
think that's how parachutes work, but
What, hot air?
Don't
yeah.
you set them
No,
on
no,
fire and
we
then
get a
they
plane as well.
destruction?
We could go off and talk to Joyce Bulrush of the boarding house.
Yeah, I
see
think
what
that's
these
a-
guards are.
That seems like a good way of moving forward. I would agree with that.
Because if these guards that have been brought in are Gavigan's finest handpicked cult members, then you know, I offhand I don't know how cult members behave.
Somewhat
But I'm
like
hoping
you in Egypt.
What?
Marcus. You know, but I think that's a really good way of moving forward.
I think so. I think it's at least an avenue worth exploring.
Hmm.
I will get the photos developed from being taken over the wall, so we can actually see the lay of the land.
That is a good idea.
Well, first thing tomorrow, I know we might not have all the information we need here, but I'll see if I can dig up any information about Randolph Shipping Company, I suppose. Or just Port Darwin, Australia.
Sounds like a plan for tomorrow then, and we'll see where we are after all those
Sounds good.
activities.
And for now, bed.
And not waking up in the night. Unless you see another ghost.
Sorry, what?
You seen a what?
Oh, I never told you, did I? I'll show you my sketchbook. Her name was Mabel, and she was thoroughly overwhelmed by the death of her husband. She was a serving or a maid at this hotel that we're staying at, and she passed, and her spirit has remained in our room 6 at the hotel. And I witnessed her, and this is what she looked like. And she was sort of ephemeral, and she appeared out of nowhere, making no sound, seemed to be dealing with some sheets for a moment, and then disappeared right in front of my eyes. It was truly remarkable. I may have been interested in this hotel because of it's known for this sort of thing. Whenever
What's
we'll say
one-
sheepishly.
I was wondering about the small library of books in the lobby. They did seem to have a certain flavour to them.
Anyone else seen anything or heard anything unusual?
No,
Not that I have noticed.
Ed has
You
already
do.
disregarded his brief encounter. Just, I've not forgotten. This isn't me forgetting.
Mhm.
Ted, why would Ted remember?
Why would? Yeah,
Exactly.
he thought he saw something out of the corner of his eye. Probably a
Of
cat.
all the people to have rolled that, it had to be Ted, didn't it? Well, anyway, if you do, let me know. I'd be very curious to follow up and write these things down, record them.
Ted,
Anyway,
you
it's
fancy a
nothing to do with our
walk?
investigation.
Who was that directed at, Justin?
Ted?
Yeah, I could be partial for an evening stroll.
It's been a long day. Good to stretch the legs.
No climbing any ladders now.
No.
I
promise
thought your
you-
sentence was just stopping at no. Then no.
I promise you, Ted and I are not going anywhere near that factory.
Do I need to do a psychology?
I think you know that you know whether he's telling
It's
the
fine.
truth or not. Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not going to go near the factory. That's not what I'm doing. I'm
Yeah,
going to go for a stroll. We'll just go for a stroll around town.
Going to get Ted shot at the pub instead.
Could do. Let's go. Right. Well, yeah, no, I'd like to go for a stroll around town.
Okay. Any purpose?
I'd like to have a look at whether there are any lights on at this time of day in the boarding house, or like I know we're a little late. I don't know exactly what time we are.
Let's
Is it
say
like-
it was 7:30.
Yeah. I'd like a stroll around there. I just basically I'd like to ascertain if like whether there's always gonna whether it looks like there's always gonna be someone in, or whether or not they're, you know what I mean? Like, just well, we'll see what we find, won't we?
Yep. Okay, you wander down there. You can see that the ground floor is lit and presumably occupied. Of 4 upstairs windows around 2 sides, there is a light on in 2 of those windows. It's not clear to you whether that's 2 rooms, because they're the ones on either side of a corner. The windows on either side of a corner, so you can't tell whether that's 1 room or 2 rooms. And the other 2 upstairs windows that you can see are unlit.
Cool. I assume Ted's come with me.
Yeah, Ted's always up for some shenanigans. Or
Sure,
even
yeah,
just
just look around.
a stroll.
Just a stroll. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's good to have a good strolling buddy. Yeah, no, I think. What do you think, Ted? There's clearly somebody upstairs and downstairs.
I don't think that's that unusual though. It's a boarding house and it's the evening. That maybe just
No,
get
it's
settled
true.
in for the night. I suppose the only other option is we go to the pub again and see if we recognise anyone there. But
Yeah,
if it looks like all of them are there, then maybe
we can always. Yeah, definitely. I think that's an idea, and I think we can also ask there whether any of them ever drink in here. That's another option too. Let's do that.
Okay. You go to the pub. Nobody that you recognize from the cafe / Henson Manufacturing is in the pub. It's relatively quiet. It is Monday evening. But are you making some inquiries, you said?
Yeah, well, actually, I suppose we did a lot of inquiries earlier in the evening at the pub, didn't we? Because we had a lot of stuff there. I suppose the only thing would be to ask about whether just whether any of the people from the boarding house ever come and drink in here are known to the pub, people with the kind of thing of maybe we could talk to them and see if any of them would be willing to make some kind of accommodation about rooms, like maybe they could shift around and make a room free or something, or but that kind of whole thing would start with a conversation over a pint, I tell the landlord. And so
okay, just give me a charm roll. See
Why
if he's
not?
willing to share info. That was a lot of dice.
Yeah, well, I have a
There's
lot
got to
of
be a
charm.
low number in there somewhere.
Wait, don't roll those dice. Those are the dice that roll high. Those are my high rolling dice. Where's my low rolling dice? 63 is a fail.
Okay. He says, most everybody in town comes in here at some point.
That's good then. We'll probably see them another time. Well, if they're in, let me know, and I wouldn't mind having a chat with them.
He nods and walks away, wiping the bar.
Well,
Let's have a few drinks then.
no choice but to burn the whole place down.
Let's not waste the evening.
Yeah, I think one or two more. Unless Ted's got any ideas about what he'd like to do, I wouldn't necessarily be out super late. Unless
No,
Ted's got
I don't
any
think there's any.
schemes.
I mean, we've scoped out the place. We've asked about the boarding house. We've looked at the boarding house.
To be fair, I suppose
Yeah.
if you get caught in the courtyard of Henson Manufacturing while inebriated, they'll probably go easier on you.
That's true. We just got lost. This isn't the bathroom.
That's true. But what can we?
That's the
think going
bathroom
down?
on fire.
Yes.
And that's why I didn't go in there, and that's why I'm going against the wall.
There's still a big question about they've got a guard on the front permanently. It's a 10-foot wall. Explain some drunk lads just ending up inside.
That's their problem, not yours. That's for them to explain.
I'll just explain how Ted's an Olympic high jumper.
Okay, are you just having a couple of drinks and heading back?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll roll luck to see if anything wander in. Maybe.
They don't.
Terrible.
Cool. Anything else for the evening?
Well, given the talk of ghosts, I don't think Edwin will be reading the creepy book this evening. But we'll be possibly either thinking about or researching possible angles, like laws that could be broken regarding imports, exports, smuggling, code violations, things like that. Getting your workforce to sign NDAs. Is that union approved? Basically that sort of stuff for potentially finding angles for.
I think Winifred had a similar thought. If Edwin has at any point indicated that this is the sort of thing he's thinking about doing, if he wouldn't be opposed to it, I think Winifred would be interested in helping.
Sure,
Even if
yeah,
it's not- I don't have the lore experience. I could, bounce ideas off and write
Sure.
things down and read some books as well. So yeah, I will help with that.
Steve, do you want to give me a lore roll and have the extra 10s dice, the bonus dice for Winifred helping?
I actually have
Sure.
10 extra points in lore, so technically I have a 15 in lore. So roleplay wise, there's a small reason why I might be able to help.
Well, let's see. I mean, you'd hope that Edwin could
Yeah.
pass a law roll. Okay, that's the first result. Second result. Okay, yes, 26 is a pass under 75.
So a hard success.
Yes.
Okay. So in terms of and this is stuff for you to sort of play off saying that they have done or might have done.
Yeah, I'm essentially
Yeah.
kind of thinking of things that I could use with, or other people could use with fast talk rolls to
Yeah.
kind of either put pressure on people or, you know, create a bit of a an opening
Okay.
that might encourage
So-
them to reveal information.
So shipping wise, taxes is your obvious. You know, not properly declaring things coming through. You know, maybe there's been a secret audit at the port, and it seems that, you know, so on and so forth. What you have declared does not match what has actually come through in these 5 test cases, and therefore we can assume that blah blah blah.
You can pretend to be the shipping company or a representative from the shipping company that and connect to that. Now we have their name. That might add a bit of credence.
Yeah.
Yeah, fake Australian accent. You'll be away.
You won't be getting a fake Australian accent out of me.
Representative
Jonny.
of.
Okay. Sorry. What were the other things as well that you wanted to think about? That's going to be a good option for you to try and swing that. But
I think the only other one was
the
like
union
munitions.
stuff.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm presuming there are controls on making munitions and whatnot. So you know, if they're doing anything like that, that would be yes, definitely subject to oversight and that sort of stuff. But yes, union stuff, like the workers, are they being mistreated? Are they being you know, is swearing them to secrecy? I don't think that's particularly that doesn't sound like good business practice to me. But what do I know?
Okay.
If they have a government contract, especially in this post First and Only World War era, then may have special dispensation as well.
So there's a couple of things with this bit. So the thing about you saying either if you're from this other shipping company, like giving a heads up, or if you are, you know, a auditor in the tax office or something like that, you would have the cover of a mistake if it turns out that this is something government related. If you were to go in talking about whether or not they should be making munitions, and that is what they are doing, and it's organized by the government, they're going to wonder who the hell you are and what you're doing.
Yeah.
The thing about the sort of union stuff and the welfare of the workers, you could be like, if you claim to be somebody from a union who was concerned about that stuff, that could work, because you could be almost like a bit of a sort of upstart union rep who even, you know, has gone a bit further than their remit potentially, and you would still have an out there.
I mean, the union, I'd probably be targeting that at the workers rather than.
Okay, so the only thing that I would say about that is that they seemed in reasonably good spirits when you saw them, in terms of, you know, sort of factory and warehouse workers. So
but that could be changed. I mean, you know, if extra wages are usually due for you know,
doesn't seem hypothetically likely, though, that given that they are working in kind of a private factory and they have stipulations about like keeping secrets, they're probably being paid quite well. You kind of get the vibe that might be true or something, because it doesn't seem like they're, you know, cult members or they're like strong-armed. They look like they're locals, so it might be rational to assume. There's probably a conversation that me and Ed are having, I suppose.
So I'm not saying that's not an avenue that you can pursue. I'm just saying that I think, you know, Edwin's looking at this stuff, but is also aware that they seemed reasonably happy. It's not like they were complaining about work the whole time they were there. They don't have like burns and stuff all over them or anything.
They have
you know,
decent lunch breaks. plenty
Yeah.
of eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reasonable working hours. They're knocking off at 5 p.m. You know, although they were in Sunday afternoon, but
We won't talk about that. Okay.
so yeah, there's a few avenues to cover. Some you think that the sort of taxi shipping one is potentially the best one to go in with on the company itself, as it were. But there's certainly nothing to stop you having a discussion with the workers and seeing if they
Sure.
are amicable towards anything around that. And you've got the relevant statutes for tax or duties or whatever it is that you wanted to probably write up in a letter to them and hand to them in person or whatever.
Yeah, I'll yes. Create sort of at least some sort of cover letter. Have things jotted down. Yes.
Yeah.
Sort of stuff.
Very nice. John, is Merritt doing anything else with the evening separate to that, or are you kind of chipping in with that as well?
It's Ghost. I was planning on continuing to study ancient Egyptian. I wanted to ask about that mechanically. The mechanics of it do not affect my answer because I think it makes sense for Merritt to do this. But the rules don't really go into learning a new language or like learning a new completely different thing that isn't already on the sheet. So like I've already passed an education roll, so I've put it on my sheet at level 0 with a tick. But
Okay.
like, is that okay? Would further education allow me to like do an education roll for it or anything? Or I just like
yeah, let's say for sort of every week that you spend some time on it,
okay.
Because in it, yeah, you could do an improvement roll, and we can do that for anybody for whatever you want to spend personal time on. Because you definitely will fail when you make an improvement roll because you're on 0.
Yes.
For that, so which makes
Unless
sense.
you roll a 0.
Yeah.
So 1 isn't an automatic success.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I'll continue to study that. And as I think my last roll for it was this week, this will still count as the same week. So I'm flashcards. We're getting the flashcards out.
Yeah.
We're revising what I've already learned.
Cool.
At least you don't have sanity loss for studying Egyptian. That's better than.
I think that'll depend what you read in Egyptian, though.
Yeah, when you get somewhere and go, oh, I can read this. Oh, I can read this.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh no. Yeah, learning more languages just means more books to make you go mad.
Yeah. Cool. Very nice. Anything else for that evening? Cool.
I think we're all accounted for. Unless there's, ghosts.
No.
Such a tease.
You all wake up reasonably well rested. It's a pretty dreary day. It's not raining, but it's just very overcast. The kind of day where you sort of open the curtains and then realize that you probably need to put a light on, even though it's as light as it's going to get outside. Presumably, you head down for breakfast.
Sure.
You are, treated to a delicious breakfast. Ms. Graves is kind of milling around. And the serving staff sort of bring you tea or coffee, whatever hot drink your heart desires.
I think once, we're not like being served things and people are listening in, I think I will say to the group, myself and Mr. Price, I think, made some good progress with options for attempting entry under the pretense of something legal. I feel like it's a safer bet than sneaking in the night.
It does mean that the only issue is that we will be seen by doing that. We will be revealing ourselves to them, which might or might not be fine, depending on whether Gaffigan knows about us already, or indeed, once our ruse has been uncovered, then we won't be able to stay here for much longer.
But it's certainly much less of a risk than is breaking in. I suppose there is the caveat to that if we are allowed in, they'll probably only show us exactly what they want us to see, and we would have to then evade or do something extra to get the information we need.
Do you explain the ruse to us?
I mean, yeah, I'll talk through the various options, like the
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, is there some way of using this ruse to this plan? Although I like ruse a lot, to kind of say, they're in violation of, like somewhat, or that maybe this Australian company, there's been a complaint that it's handling things improperly, and we need to be shown what kind of work you are doing, just to kind of cross off our books that you're not somebody who's got one of these. Look, I mean, look, if I was doing this, the Australian company would also be owned by the same overall parent company, so it's probable that they know exactly what's going on. But we could say that there's been some allegations of impropriety, that we're looking into it, tell them not to tell the Australian company, say it's all hush hush, and say that we just need to tick them off the list of people who are handling improper stuff, and we need to be shown what they are doing. And just a simple, if we just knew roughly what they were doing, I think that would be enough for us to go a lot further. Just to be able to be shown even what they're doing there. Like, I think as long as it looks vaguely, I mean, if they, obviously if they're torturing babies, then they're not going to show us that, and that's then we're like, oh well, we've got them, thanks for rights. But assuming that there's some kind of explainable, albeit unusual, thing going on there, they should be able to demonstrate it. If they really won't demonstrate it to us, then, well, I don't know.
Well, that's rather the issue. If they don't demonstrate anything to us, then we're no better off than we are. Well, we're worse off than we are now, because they know who we are. They would have seen us and know that we are.
The biggest risk with it, I guess, is that they know we're full of it, or whoever goes to speak to them, and that sort of alerts them that someone's sniffing around if they're not already alerted. Which then, if we then go the sort of next plan of, well, we need to sneak in, they're potentially going to be more alerted. However, if it then, they don't realise we're full of it. If a handful of us get in, even if they don't see anything when they're around, that, you know, I think the likelihood of them seeing anything incriminating or anything that informative in terms of that we're happy going back to London with is pretty slim. But they at least might see some more of the lay of the land inside some of these buildings that, at the minute, say we jump over the fence or the wall now, we know what's going on outside, but it could be, you know, we don't know what's going on in those buildings, who's in those buildings, what's in those buildings. So, like I said, the biggest risk is they realise that we're full of it, and that tips them off before, you know, it makes getting in there harder.
Yes. I was wondering whether well, okay, Jonny. I have been at the cafe during lunch breaks on a couple of occasions. I didn't interact with the people, the workforce from the factory. Is it likely that they would have spotted me and be able to recognize me? I'm not sure it matters completely.
I was going to say that.
If we're being
'Cause you could-
posing
you
as
could work
investigating
nearby.
it for, well, if
Yeah.
we're posing as investigating it for environmental protection, which probably doesn't exist in 1925, but let's say we want to investigate them for bringing over poisonous frogs, it wouldn't be that unusual for you to be asking around and
Yes.
looking at it in the cafe beforehand anyway. You know, that still keeps that element of cover there.
Yeah, yeah. Then I think if we're going to do this at all, I think the first step should probably be to make one final attempt to talk to the workforce, suggest to them that they might be working at a place that has some issues regarding legislation, and suggest that perhaps if they were to reveal some details to us beforehand, the whole thing could be handled in a much more delicate way and not involve any disruption to their work. Whereas if we have to go in and,
especially, I think there's a chance as well for saying things like, you know, that there's this whole thing's about to be blown wide open, and if they want to go, they want to be on the right side of it. And but then again, if it is a government thing, then
They must have. I feel like, given the secrecy and everything else, they must have some indication that there's something going on at the factory. And I suppose I see your point, Wilfred, that if they believe it's a government thing, but I mean, as far as we know, it isn't. So perhaps we can cast doubt upon that belief. I don't know. But yes, the very fact they're sworn to secrecy must give them some pause for consideration about what they're doing, you would think. And they must have seen something. I mean, under the assumption that this place is owned by Gavigan and strange things are happening there, you would imagine that at least some of the employees there have come across something that they might feel is strange or unsettling. If we can find those people, that would be a useful way in.
I think it could also be interesting to hear, if you are successful in getting them to open up, interesting to hear what they think about Gavigan's selected workers, whether there's any animosity or any strangeness there. And to that end, I think maybe it is worth speaking to the landlady to see if there's any odd habits that could be queried.
Yes, indeed. That would be, yes, certainly interesting to discover. So how do we arrange this? I presume then that we need to visit, or at least some of us need to visit the landlady first?
That makes sense. I think I'd still like to at least try to find out about this Randolph Shipping Company, if nothing else, about how the deliveries here work or anything like that. might help us with the potential case we want to make, Mr. Price.
Do you have? Is that something you can do here?
Yeah, I was going to ask Jonny about that. I'm going to attempt to. I don't really know if I'm going to have a realistic idea of if that's even going to be possible. I'm like, would there be any documentation about the company given their delivery to Derby? I'm not sure there would be, though, necessarily outside of the company itself. You know,
I mean,
it's more
maybe
of a
sort of, I
house
don't know,
type thing.
catalogs in the library, or
Maybe, yeah.
You could maybe try, this may be too involved, but maybe try to find out where Randolph are shipping to.
That's what I was wondering about.
And where the vans are picking up the packages, because they may have more records on whatever packages they're bringing in.
Yeah, but again, I don't know if it's going to be, if this information, does it feel like this information is available to me in Derby, Jonny, or is it just a, I've been to the library and thought of it.
I mean, we can make phone calls as well.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not just going to be able to go to like company's house and find information out about them because they're not from here, unless it was some weird thing like, if
Global.
somebody in the UK owned the company and it was registered here and operated in Australia, that would be slightly different. So you could look, but you think the chances are that you're not going to find anything like that. You could attempt to trace that stuff back, but you're not sure even really how you would do that because you don't know where the van was going to.
Yeah.
Without having some morsel to begin with to build off, you think it would be quite difficult. What you could do in a few hours is get in touch with his name's gone.
The
Ramsey, Carlton Ramsey.
Oh yeah.
And ask him if he has any links or contacts.
Well, given I don't feel like we're in the most urgent. I might send him a telegram.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then see if we might get a reply today. If not, I'll instruct him to send it back to this hotel because I think we're going to be here for at least another 1 or 2 days. So, and if I don't get anything before we leave, I can always ask it to be forwarded on. Yeah. So I'll send him just a telegram asking if he can find any information out about Randolph Shipping Company, Port Darwin, Australia. If there's anything about what they ship, where they ship to in the UK, what other companies they might be involved with, that sort of thing. Any news stories or illicit dealings or anything they've been involved with, Yeah.
And did Winifred see on the shipping crates themselves? Was there any evidence that they had the name Pennyhue Foundation on them?
It was to the Penny Foundation. That was all. We had on it.
Right. But
It
there was no other details about.
It didn't say to this address specifically or anything, no. So it might well have been shipped to somewhere else and then from there to here. Because I was thinking about whether we could predict the closest port to Derby, but then I'm like, I don't even know if they've come from a port to here. They might well have. So yeah.
This is more likely to be at this point a port than by like air travel.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be flown yet. Not for
East Midlands
shipping, I
Airport.
think. You really get into the
So-
40s or 50s before shipping is regularly air. I mean, there's a little bit of passenger. Well, not really much passenger until the 40s, is there really?
Hang on, what planes are only like?
We're still in biplane territory.
Are you muted?
Yeah,
Justin?
You're on mute,
You're
Justin.
Justin.
These guys got a lot of money. Who knows what they're doing?
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether from Derby there would be like an accepted port town that most stuff will come in through.
It's hilariously in the middle. So
It's
kind
as
of a
bad
hole
as
in
middle
the
as you can get.
Problem.
It's
And
like they
also,
call it
it's
German or
like
something.
it would probably just get shipped to London or
Yeah.
Well,
one-
like
But
Pennyview
again,
Foundation
I'm
is in
not-
London, so
yeah.
I'm not convinced it's come here first, so yeah, I'm not going to look that up. But anyway, my brief part of my morning is taken with the Telegram, so that's my thing first. Anyway,
So, who wants to talk with the landlady?
So this is talking with the landlady of the flop house, basically.
Yes, I'm not sure it's been described as a flop house, but
Sure.
yes.
Why not? What would we say our main goals of this conversation are?
Really, to ascertain, I think. Well, Edwin is interested to know what sort of character. Like these could be cultists. So basically, these ones that are at what's her name, Joyce Baldrush's place. How do they behave? Do they seem, well mannered? Do they seem to have any unusual traits or sort of activities? And again, it could be hooked into the whole, well, they've been brought in. There is a question over some of the operations of the factory. So basically, we're kind of, making some inquiries as to, well,
Sure.
that would be Edwin's approach. Whether Wilfred,
Sure.
you could have other angles.
I'm sure it would be very similar to what Edwin would do.
It might also be worth asking how their rent is paid. As in, like, is it paid
Is it in
by
cursed gold
Henson?
bars?
That
Innsmouth
whisper
gold.
slightly when you listen to them. Like, is it paid by Henson as a company thing, or is it paid by Gavigan, or is it paid by them?
Yeah.
Probably unlikely.
Sure.
But, I think I will go with Mr. Farwell, if that's all right.
Mr. Farwell isn't pushing you off, so
Well,
It's not welcoming me with open arms.
it's easier to. I don't mind if you'd like to come. It's easier to sell the boarding house shtick if there's just one of us. But
That is true.
it depends if you want to go. Like, what would be your angle? I've got an angle. I've got an angle, but what would your angle be? Can you pull off my angle?
I would
allowed to
never
on?
dream of attempting it, Mr. Farwell. Regardless, I don't think we should be traveling alone. So how about I go with you and wait outside?
Sure. I wasn't planning on going inside, but maybe I'll have to. We'll see.
I will keep an eye on you, nevertheless.
Sure. I mean, you're welcome in. You're welcome in. You're welcome in. I think I'd rather have you than not, because now I think about it, my plan had been to. Well, I don't know what the situation will be, so we'll judge it. We'll judge it when we get there, I guess. You can't plan for these things too much.
smash cut to boarding house on fire.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I don't have much luggage. Just this and the gold bar in the back.
Okay, you two are going to the boarding house. Edwin
Sure.
and Ted.
I would be waiting to hear back from Wilfred in case there's useful information to weave into an approach. So hopefully this can be done before lunchtime, and then lunchtime we bother the people at the canteen again.
You can't rush magic.
Ted is going to try and find somewhere to get his photos developed. A Boots or something like that.
I think Woolworths was still around at this point, wasn't it?
No, it's not that long ago.
Okay, fine. Yeah. You find a specialist camera store. The man's surname may or may not be Jessup in my head. And the Mr. Farwell and Merritt Barton wander down to the boarding house, which is past Henson Manufacturing, I think I said last time. So you pass by the front gates of there and down to the address.
Right.
It's about 200 yards down the road from Henson. So are you just knocking?
Well, is she outside? Is she outside? Does she look like, is she pottering around in the window? What does it look like?
She's not outside. It's cold and dreary.
It's cold and dreary. It's true.
Give me a spot hidden roll. She has sort of blinds. It's not so easy to just stare in and see what's going on. John Merritt can as well.
It's not going well per se. Spot hidden. Nope, that's bad.
I get a hard success. So
Okay. She is in one of the upstairs rooms. You're pretty certain that she's cleaning. She looks to be various movements, but one of them, she's kind of looks to be like that near the window, and you think she's probably sort of feather dustering
Sure.
around.
Oh,
And you don't spot any other movement in the house. Also worth noting.
cool. I think in that case, I'm going to. I don't think we gain anything by doing any snooping in this house if the public areas. So I'm going to knock. I'll ring the doorbell or knock on the door or whatever the method of that is.
Knock at the door. There is a sort of can't remember what it's called. A knocker. Yeah, to help you knock. And after a moment, you hear a latch slide inside, and the door opens, and a friendly face. And she says, "You all right, me duck? Can I help you?"
Yes. Hello. Is this Mrs. Is it Bulrush? Is that right?
Miss, but yes.
Oh, my apologies. You make assumptions, don't you? I'm sorry to bother you. I have been told, unfortunately, that your rooms are all taken. Is that right?
I'm afraid that's so, yes.
Oh, that is so. Mr. Barton, I am so sorry to have taken you out all of this way to show you. So, you see, our friend stayed here a year or so ago and said that it was a very pleasant experience.
Oh, what was his name? Oh, her
His
name.
name.
Sorry.
His name.
You make assumptions, don't you?
You make assumptions, don't you? His name, Paul Smith. His name was Paul Smith, but I don't think he stayed here particularly long. Any ring any bells?
Oh yes, I never forget a name. Lovely young man.
Paul Smith, excellent. Right. Anyway, I think he stayed here at least. He described the village and he said that this place looked very nice. And anyway, we come out this way to stay. We're actually staying over. Say where we're staying instead, because when I found out that this was all booked up, but it would be really nice. So we were thinking of staying here next time we visit. We should be back. We come back. We think we're going to come back fairly regularly, once a month or so. You see, we're looking to kind of find out a bit more about investing in some of the business in town, the factories and things. Me and Mr. Barton both have some business interests that have been doing really reasonably well. I don't want to get into it too much, but we're looking for someone we can stay regularly. This is my line of argument. You can see, Jonny. And
she sounds quite impressed with you having some investments that are going well.
Indeed, thank you. Anyway, I would be. Do you think that next time we come, let's say in a month or so's time, the rooms will be free?
I'm really sorry to be vague, but it'd be quite difficult for me to say. Have a bit of a rolling contract at the moment, you see.
I see. That's quite all right. Well, it's still good to know. What is there anything you can say about what are they like? I mean, just to give an idea about maybe when they might be coming or going.
Or
Well, sort
perhaps
of.
if we could speak to the interested parties and make an agreement with them.
Well, sort of similar to yourselves, I suppose. A bunch of lovely young gentlemen that are here on the basis of an investment that seems to be going quite well down at Henson. You'll have passed it just on the way here. The newer owner is paying me a month in advance for the young men to stay here. Some workers of his.
And have they been they've been here just so if we'd been here a month earlier, we'd have had a chance to stay.
Oh no, sorry, no, they've been here a little while longer than that.
Oh,
but he's paying me a month in advance. I see.
Oh goodness. And these, Mr. Barton and I would be cash payers if that makes any difference.
Much the same, I'm afraid. And besides,
same.
I'm not one to throw somebody out on the rear for a better, higher number. You
didn't take me as a money grabbing type, Mr. Walsh, but that's completely understandable. I mean, would it be possible? I know it's in position, but would it be possible to see one of the rooms just to have an understanding of what the place is like? If we,
yes, I'm sure.
If it's not in position.
Yes. No. Well, I can show you mine, which is very similar to all the others.
Is that the room that are you staying in one of the guest rooms currently?
I live here with the guests, but my room is very similar to the other rooms. You see, there's not much difference between them.
Interesting. I see. Well,
How is that? A lady as yourself living in a house full of unmarried,
lovely young men,
presumably quite young men. They must be quite noisy, boisterous. There's no trouble, is there, or anything?
Oh, not at all. As I say, they're lovely young men. They help clean and tidy, and keep themselves to themselves for the most part. We share a cup of tea and a piece of cake occasionally, but no bother.
Well,
and I'm afraid, as I'm sure Paul will have told you, every guest has a key to their room, so I can't show you any of the others, which is why I've offered to show you mine. You see.
Well, that will be fine. Let's have a shifty, Mr. Barton. It sounds like maybe as we're going to the room, it sounds like these are such great guests. Maybe we'd be ashamed to turf them out. It sounds like maybe it'd be nice to hold on to them for some time. Yes.
I wonder, have any of them mentioned why they were brought in from outside the area?
I think
there'd be plenty of likely lads in Derby to fill in any positions.
Just the lads that the new owner knew already.
Right.
Perhaps it's some kind of phased handover or whatnot. Because, I believe they've got some kind of government contract, you see.
Oh, I see.
So maybe they want to make sure that things are up to scratch before they leave the local lads to it. He has kept a lot of the local lads on, He's not just turfed them out and swapped them for London lads or anything like that. So
well, that's good. Yeah, the new owner. So it's not Mr. Henson anymore, then?
No, retired to Cornwall or something, I think. Lucky bugger. Bet it's sunny there today.
Oh, well. Yes, but is it worth it for the rest of the year?
Well, true.
Tin poisoning. Mr. Barton, if this factory is doing well, maybe this is the factory that we want to invest in.
That's
Government. Look, I mean, Mr. Boris, this is probably this would be maybe considered a bit insider trading for you, to use a bit of London speak. But are you sure it's a government contract? Because if that is true, that would be definitely a reason for us to put some money into the factory. If they're securing, what is it that made you think that? What is it that made you think that?
It's just the word around town. We see the odd truck go in and out, but we don't know what they're doing there. But I'm not sure where it's come from, whether one of the lads has told his wife and she's told a friend and it's gone around town or what. But
those kinds of rumors are the things that people make big money off, loose lips and all. Anyway,
can you make me charm rolls?
Can I?
I can try.
Can I? 28 is a pass.
9 is a pass.
This is
These two charming gentlemen.
She says, she leans in close and conspiratorial in spite of the fact that you are in her closed house. And in a kind of hushed voice says, my understanding is that Mr. Gavigan's got links to the War Office.
Blooming heck. The War Office, that's a big cash cow for us, Mr. Barton.
Yes. Well, that's... Obviously, I sincerely hope it isn't as profitable as it's been in the past few years, but there's still a good amount of liquidity in there.
I see. Again, Miss Bush, that's a very strong position to take. But I would take that under advisement. I don't know if I'm looking to Mr. Barton whether he has any other lines of inquiry to go through.
God, I don't exactly know how I'd bring it up. But in among, this room looks very nice. It's a good size in here. So on and so forth. Maybe ask whether any of the lads, whether they get like any holidays, like sometimes when they bring in staff from outside, they bring in sometimes Londoners have strange monthly holidays. Do any of them do they get taken?
They stay here the whole time, or do they leave and
any company holidays that you know of or anything? Maybe we could pop in on one of those days. Or if they're gone for a weekend.
Now you mention it, they do seem to be very hard workers. Not sure I can think of the last time one of them was away.
Well,
this
kind of people you want working for you, better by the second. Yeah.
Well, my understanding from as you say, there's quite a buzz about it around town, is that they are fairly well paid for their hard work, which is good news for those who are looking to invest in the town. Well, this has been, I must say, Miss Borsch, a big disappointment. but hopefully next time we come through, there will be a chance to stay at your lovely, lovely home.
Very kind of you to say. Definitely do come and check. Mr. Farwell, Mr. Barton, I never forget a name or a face, so you'll have a warm welcome.
Did we
from
give
me.
you our names? I don't remember if that happened.
You definitely gave her my
Barton's.
name.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I did the old Sam trick on you. I don't think I gave my name though.
Okay, Mr. Barton, Mr.
Yes. And I will head on out. Well, she says she never forgets a name, but she did. You know, we did get Paul Smith through, so I'm kind of.
I mean, that sounds like a challenge to me. You know, come up with some sort of 26-syllable monstrosity.
She goes, hang on a second. Paul Smith never paid his dues.
A 26-syllable monstrosity is actually the final boss in this campaign.
Spoilers.
Okay. So are you heading straight back and discussing with Mr. Price?
Yes.
Yes.
And I apologise to Mr. Barton. He's going to have to change his name.
That's all right. You didn't give her my Christian name, so I'm sure there are plenty of other Mr. Bartons out there.
Sure.
They'll be, whittled off one by one. It might take a while to.
Well, I mean, we're investors from London. I think that's neither here nor there. Well, I'm happy to go back and spill the beans to Price, as we say. So hopefully he's up to date.
Yes.
Yes, the War Office development is
Quite tricky,
not.
I think.
Yeah.
That is. Yes, I hadn't anticipated that. I wonder whether we have contacts to check, to validate that. I don't suppose either of you talking to the Farwells have any Jonny? Jonny has
Corporal
contacts
Shane?
at the War Office? Sorry? Of course, yes. Well, there we go. Excellent. Make a note to get in touch.
You can task Corporal Shane with that.
Cool. We'll telegram Shane immediately. Shane, stop. Got some strange news. Stop.
Stop.
Just joking. Stop.
Call when convenient. I assume
Yeah,
he's a busy man. We can't just.
Are you putting the detail, like any detail in the telegram? Like, can you check if Henson Manufacturing in Derby has a contract with the War Office? Or are you saying, can you call us at this hotel?
The latter, I think, would be much more sensible.
Yeah.
We think there's an evil cult at the factory. Please tell your friends.
Run by Edward Gavigan and maybe Zara Shafiq.
Yes.
And might also possibly be supported by the government. I'm sure no one will be interested in knowing this information.
Are we?
I mean,
Are we like gathering? I don't know, at lunch or brunch or something to discuss?
this would be probably prior to lunch, prior to sort of scheduled cafe time.
Yeah, I think because the news of potential connections to the War Office / government is kind of a big deal, isn't it? Do we think that's genuine? I guess we have to confirm it. We don't really have any evidence one way or the other just yet.
I mean, it seems odd for there to be so many rumors going about town, especially the War Office, without there being some source of all of these rumors. And so it is. I think it's conceivable.
I don't know why the War Office would be importing things from Australia, though.
Well, I think again, it's like what I was saying last time. It was yesterday. It's kind of maybe there is a government effort to deal with these things, or to use these things, or to turn them into some kind of hideous bomb or device or something.
Well-
And this is what this looks like.
That was exactly my point. If we're getting involved in terrifying cult activities, which also maybe connect to the government directly, that could be very problematic. And not to cast aspersions on His Majesty's government, but I could imagine that if someone were to offer some proof of the power of the sorts of things we've been seeing, they would certainly be interested in exploring it. And that doesn't mean that they would necessarily know about what Gavigan may or may not be involved in, and yet still interested in it and potentially behind it in some sense, or funding it in some sense. And if that is true, that's a serious implication for us continuing this investigation.
So you're saying somebody in government might be funding a skunkworks? I don't even know what I'd call this.
I'm saying one could imagine that if higher powers within government, and the War Office specifically, had discovered that these sorts of otherworldly things, such as we have seen, may exist, and someone like Gavigan was offering continued exploration of those things, they might be willing to put their weight and support behind him.
But surely
even
they
if
wouldn't
he were to-
be. Surely they wouldn't be willing to put up with an organisation that carried out regular murders.
One would hope. One would hope, certainly, but if they might not know the full extent of what he's doing.
It is also possible that potting about town, the odd rumor that what you're working on is very hush-hush and important for the safety of the country, is a very good way to get people to stop asking too many questions.
This is true.
I mean, it's just a rumor at this point, right?
Well, we have no evidence either way.
Guess we'll just have to wait for Corporal Shane's response then. Anyway,
we could.
The telegram.
Yes.
Sorry, go on, Steve.
We could still, if we tailor our approach to the workers,
Maybe we can
that
get more
might
information.
that might still get us something.
It depends, I suppose, now if they really believe this or not. If they do believe they're actually genuinely working for the War Office, then it might be very difficult to persuade them to speak out about what they're doing. If they have doubts, though, or they don't believe it and it's just a useful cover for whatever they're doing, then it might be much easier, perhaps. Unless they're bought into it all. People tend to be very loyal. National pride and all that. At the moment, at the point that we start to question them on that, it might even come across like we're spies from another country or something.
I suppose, but I mean, to be fair, the information we've got so far hasn't been particularly well hidden. If we found it, then I don't know. I can see the advantage in waiting until we hear back from my colleague, but equally, I don't know. Should we? I'm open to advice. Should we go ahead and talk to the workers once more? I feel we can do that once more, and then that is the last throw of that particular.
Agreed, and I would very much like to know if there is anything behind this claim of the War Office before we talk to the workers personally, because if we don't have evidence one way or the other of that, and we decide to take the approach of tell us your secrets, something is odd here, and they do genuinely believe they work for the War Office, then we're putting ourselves in a very tricky position. However, if we have reason to believe they don't, and we can persuade them of that, or they don't believe they are at all, and it's just a rumor, then we have an advantage. I realize this is just slowing us down even more, though.
Well, better to have a considered approach than blunder in, I suppose. We could always visit Edale whilst we work these details through. What do the rest of you think?
We are now waiting for a few messages back.
Do have the whole afternoon, and it can't be that far away.
Do you want to know the detail of how you would get there?
Yes.
You could have figured out. So it is a single. Oh, I've lost my page. A single train ride with no changes from here. You would have had to change here. Were you coming from London? So you can get the Hope Valley line that would take you to Manchester, and you can get off at Edale on the way, and then you would have 5 miles to Lesser Edale, which you would have to find some way of getting there, either on foot or maybe there's somebody that runs a carriage company in Edale, or maybe there's a farmer that will be going that way that you can jump in the back of the hay wagon. That's the kind of spot that you'll be in at that point. So it would take you about 2 hours to walk it, probably.
Okay.
Unless you get lucky with one of those other options.
So it's not as simple as just jumping in a carriage and being out there in half an hour.
You don't know. You don't know Edale, and there might be just somebody who does lifts basically for people between the two places.
Mm-hmm. We could call ahead to the train station to see if something can be prearranged. And I'm happy to do that.
That seems very sensible.
Okay, let's make this a luck roll, John.
Oh no. I'm not at Justin levels, but it's a 3. That is a
Nice.
success.
You've had some good rolls recently.
I have. I got new dice. That's why.
Right. Do we sell these dice on our store?
No, but I might think about selling the old ones. If anyone wants any cursed dice.
The ones that roll 99s all the time.
Yeah.
You just need to make a system where that's a good thing, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You get through to somebody. Line's a little bit crackly. And there's a little bit of back and forth at first with a couple of hello. Oh, yeah. I think we're all right now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Edale Station.
Hello. I'm writing. I'm calling to inquire about whether there's any means of regular transport between Edale and Lesser Edale.
Ooh, there's a cobbler in town, he says, and then leaves a moment and goes, I'm just kidding. But yeah, often you might have to walk. Give me a minute. John! John, are you about this afters? Is it this afternoon? Sorry.
Oh, maybe if there's a route.
1 minute. John, this afters. Any to Lesser Edale? How many?
5.
Ooh, 5, John. No, 5. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, now we have to go.
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. I think it'll probably be around either of the 2 trains that are left. The first one you might have a wait on while he finishes up with his stall. But yeah, should be fine.
And what sort of I assume he comes back in the morning?
Oh, he'll come back after he's dropped you.
I see.
He's he'll drop any leftover stock off in the village, and then he comes back. You see, so it'd probably be the next afternoon.
I see.
But there might be in Lesser Edale, there might be the farmer there might be coming this way. You might get lucky.
Well, fantastic. That all sounds very helpful. Thank you.
Very welcome. Shall I take a name to give him?
Yes, Mr. Barton.
Right. Well, I suppose I'll probably see you in a bit, Mr. Barton.
Thank you very much. And what was your name? Sorry.
He's hung up.
Ah, fine.
Because I didn't want to think of a name.
Wow.
That's fine.
Wow.
We know John's.
Yeah, you don't get the impression there's anybody else working at this station. You're probably going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, if we wanted to spend a day in Lesser Edale, then we can certainly do that.
I like
feel
to
bad-
imagine that whole conversation, his end of it was completely audible to us. And so like I'm probably like standing there like just chuckling and saying, well, that does sound like quite the adventure. Did you get whether there's anywhere to stay in Lesser Edale?
I did not.
Ah, it really would be an adventure then.
I'm sure we'll be able to find somewhere with the right amount of financial incentive, even if 4 of us are just sleeping in a barn roof loft.
That sounds amiable enough to me.
Does mean we'll miss the call from Corporal Shane, however.
We don't all necessarily need to leave for Edale. There might be some value in staying here, and if someone wanted to talk to the staff after we got a call back from Corporal Shane, it's probably better to not be all of us. I don't know if anyone wants to stay, though. If everyone does want to go to Lesser Edale, I don't want to stop us. I would
Well,
quite like to go to Edale.
I've given my name for transport arrangement, so it sounds like I have to go.
Anyone have preferences for?
Well, the plan would be we are planning to investigate a series of grisly murders, right?
Yes.
Well, maybe having everyone together is not the worst idea in the world.
Hopefully, Corporal Shane will leave a message, I suppose, then. But we need to talk
We
to him,
just-
really, don't we?
Yeah, I guess we just tell was it Miss Graves that we're expecting a phone call, but we're suddenly away on.
I mean, I could travel. I could travel up if I wait for Corporal Shane's information and travel up tomorrow or something. That would that work? Because then I could talk to the people, the workers in the cafe, and then travel up as soon as convenient.
If you're happy with that, I think that might make sense.
If we think it's safe for you to stay here on your own.
All right, fine. One of us can stay. Okay, I don't mind staying. Or Ted can stay, or yourself can stay, boss. Johnny's got something to say.
I think this conversation and planning has probably taken at least an hour. Would you say?
With the phone call, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
judging from that phone call, certainly, yeah.
So you and you're in. Are you in sort of the hotel eating, drinking area while you're having this conversation?
Let's say yes.
Okay. Ms. Graves comes through and says, "A call for your group."
Kind of you, GM.
Who wants to talk to the corporal?
It is Corporal Shane. I'm assuming that you are asking Corporal Shane to check with any contacts whether Henson Manufacturing have
Yes.
a contract with the War Office.
Or indeed the Penhue
Yeah.
Foundation.
Yeah.
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 Like you know, although maybe be a bit softer about that because things.
I would
like,
also mention Randolph Shipping Company,
Yeah, we can
Okay.
give an update on.
assuming Corporal Shane isn't worried about, the contacts they're talking to.
Okay. And are you? The previous conversation is still relevant. Are you saying that one of you is going to stay here, or are you going to say where you are going?
No, I think we'll all leave together, right? Or
Well, it's a question on whether, like, if Shane thinks that the information they can get, in a brief period.
If you have this conversation, he kind of says, "Well, it's how long is a piece of string?" Kind of, I could ask the first person, and they give me a yes or no answer,
Sure.
or I could be passed around the houses for 3 days with people who don't respond. And
Okay. Well, in which case, I guess we can call once we're in Edale.
Or if you hear something very, very quickly, then leave a message with the Edale rail station, and that we need to call you, and then we'll call you from there when we get back to Edale station.
okay, cool.
Goodbye. Right.
Seems like a plan.
Let's all go and have an excursion, and maybe you'll.
I like how we're having an excursion within what is an excursion.
And this is a fun excursion. I feel like we've been staring at a
With
factory for about
murders.
2 days. I'm looking
Again,
forward to it.
we are investigating a set of grisly murders possibly perpetrated by some sort of beast.
Yeah, but we're going outdoors now.
We've gone murders, corporate intrigue, murders.
If it's a beast, it's not a murder; it's a killing. Surely.
If it is
Anyway,
abusive.
yeah. Well, we'll find out, won't we? And then we'll shoot it, and then everything will be fine.
I do like how we're getting increasingly more rural. That we've gone from New York to London to Derby to
Lesser
Edale.
Edale.
Yeah,
Like you're going into Edale and then going 5 miles to the smaller version of Edale.
yeah. The storyline's going to end with us just wandering through a forest.
Cool. Is there anything else that you want to do in Derby before you go get the train?
I would like to find a map of the Edale and Lesser Edale region.
Okay, probably in the library. Are you just looking for a map or any other information?
I think I was just looking for a map.
Okay.
It would quite like to be something that I have to reference later if I have questions.
Yeah. Yeah, you can take it out for a week, whatever.
Excellent.
I mean,
Cool.
if there's a bit of time to spend, I'd maybe look up, I presume there haven't been more news stories about deaths or whatever in the
No,
papers.
because I think you last looked
We
like
checked.
a day or two
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, nothing new since then.
So I guess I'd look up a bit of sort of local colour, a bit of info about the area, any interesting stories or legends, that sort of thing. Any landmarks, things like that. I'm slipping over into Western now. It has to be said.
I was going to say, are there any standing stone circles anywhere near Lesser Edale?
Not that you find any reference to. You do find that the likely place that you will stay, unless somebody offers you a room in their home, is the Laughing Horse Inn. That seems to be the sort of cultural hub of this village. So yeah, you think that's probably where you want to head when you're there. There doesn't seem to be any reference to it being haunted. Although there's presumably a lot more loose spirits in the village than there were a few weeks ago. So who can say?
I thought you were going to make a loose spirits in the pub joke.
I'd never.
Save that one for next week.
For the train, then?
Yes.
Oh, why not?
Cool. I think that's a good spot to leave it. Thanks, everybody. If anybody has any questions or comments, put them in the chat and we can discuss them. Promo stuff below the stream, links to our social media, our YouTube and Twitch, depending on which you're watching on. The YouTube has many, many, many hours of content, including our 5-year anniversary video, which has been painstakingly and lovingly crafted by members of the crew to include choice cuts from previous streams and discussions around those things. And also our Patreon, where if you enjoy what we do, you can support us there, and our Discord, which you can join and come and chat with us and other people who are involved in the channel and like the channel and other such things. That's everything. I think that we, as far as I'm aware, are good for next week, so we'll hopefully see you then. And it will almost be the date in real life that it... Oh! Yeah. The days of the week and the dates are the same in 1925 and now. That's interesting, isn't it?
Spooky.
Anyway, yes, thank you, everybody. Any any chat things? Chat things. Max Writer, I love the legitimacy of you being English and playing in England. Yeah, it's nice. Means I can basically just do my own accent for these bits of the game.
We keep going to places that are like, you know, I'm very overly familiar with from my, which is interesting.
But you're not familiar with them 100 years ago, so that's.
I mean, Edale is very similar today as it was 100 years ago. I'm not putting it out. I'm just putting it out there.
True.
We have a proposed name for our contact from the boarding house.
Neil Nyarlathotep. Yeah. Very good, Jack. Very good.
I'm disappointed. I mean, I did like when I was, you know, I think that there's got to be a joke about this being about the Penny Foundation having a pyramid scheme. Like, I think that it's.
Yes.
It was a good joke. That
I put it in the private chat, but it deserved to be in the public chat.
Did also have propositions of.
Jack, and with a small investment, we can get you in on the ground floor. All you need to do is get some friends to invest as well.
We have to finance this thing somehow, you know.
It's actually multi-tiered selling.
It's more like an inverse funnel.
Where the money goes in the top.
Yes.
And the earlier that you got in, you collect more of the money in the funnel.
Yep. Yep. This all sounds very legitimate. We also have this worth shouting out.
You have a
have a store. We do have a store. I've realized it's not linked on either our Twitch or our YouTube. So
how do we sell anything?
That, but
hidden.
yes, we have a fourth wall shop under Telling Tales RP. We're hoping to add to it, but right now we have a small selection of t-shirts and a lovely mug, as demonstrated by.
Hey, wow, real merch fan.
Good job, Jack.
The merch is really just for our true fans who know how to know where links are without them being supplied.
Yeah,
it really helps when you're on the Discord
Jack.
in the sort of backstage area. That's where all the links are.
And you know, you can, if you buy a bunch of Telling Tales merch and then tell your friends to buy a bunch of Telling Tales merch, then
it's not an investment opportunity.
You'll get absolutely nothing out of it apart from the merch that you've spent money on.
And a
in
sense
50 years.
of joy.
Yes, that joy. That's the real thing that products will get you.
Also, in 50 years, it might be worth what you paid for it.
No.
Yes.
I said might.
No.
In 50 years, a mug as a method of water collection when it rains for the first time in 3 months, that's probably worth quite a lot.
And you can use one of the t-shirts as a moisture trap to try
That's why I
and
went for
funnel
large
more
mug.
of the water in.
My God,
Steve's shaking his head because it's true.
I mean, it is true. Like, if you know, if we are telling people that the apocalypse that's coming down the line can be at least mitigated in some way by Telling Tales merchandise, it's not a vastly sort of optimistic. Not that Telling Tales is, it's moody and atmospheric, I suppose. But yeah,
This is our line, our level for buying.
I don't think it's honest to tell people that the mug will meaningfully, positively contribute towards an apocalyptic scenario in the future. Just putting it out there.
I only said it could.
I'd rather have one mug than no mugs in that situation.
you could still barter with a mug, in the post-financial world.
I mean, I feel like there's some joke here about mugs, but I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, what a pleasure! What a fun session. Hope to see you all next week.
Yes.
Hey, wait, that's my thing.
Signing on.
What a pleasure! What a fun session. Hope to see you all next